Well, welcome to Beyond Swatches. Thank you for clicking and coming on in. And if you clicked on the video, you probably need an accountability partner like I need sometimes. So we're going to sit and knit together for just a few minutes today. I told myself I'd take an hour. You can give yourself a time limit, but we'll sit together for just a few minutes, talk through the current project that I'm knitting on and some of the highlights and lowlights, and then we'll just get some rounds completed. So let's jump on in. Before we get fully started, we are inching so close to my first 1,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. I can't even, I, I don't know. Like, there's no words really that I can come up with. And I think everyone feels this way when you start this YouTube channel because you really just do it for the documentation purposes. And then one day you realize people are actually following and watching, and you keep coming back. It's pretty amazing. So last year, I ended the year saying, or the beginning of December, I was saying I wanted to finish this dress that I was working on. I wanted to have it done for January, but that did not happen. And I was a little bummed about it, but I was very realistic about 3 weeks into December, 2 weeks into December, that it was not going to happen. Um, and primarily, it's just, you know, I didn't feel like working on it. It was a little troublesome for the brain, primarily because it's a bottom up pattern and it's a dress and it's fingering weight yarn and it was taking me forever, and I don't know. I just got a little discouraged. Not discouraged in the sense like, oh, I don't want to make it, but discouraged in the sense that I knew I wasn't going to make it for January, so we're not going to pressure ourselves. But anyway, so before we jump into all of that, how are you doing? Did you start your year off good? Do you make resolutions? Do you do those things? Or did you just make a bunch of plans, maybe readjust some of your goals for this year? For me personally, I never make a resolution because I think I made them when I was younger because it was the thing to do. I never kept them, so I just stopped worrying about it. I'm going to pull you down a little bit so we can actually knit together. Yeah, so this dress, we'll talk about this first. Well, let me show you a little bit before I get going. When I started this dress, this is a dress from the Pom Pom magazine, and it's the Shetland Trader edition. Really nice articles in there. A lot of family history and family stories, and I really like that kind of stuff. Um, but this was the pattern that was pretty much in most of the designs in that magazine. And that's cool. I really enjoyed it. The problem for me with bottom up items is that it takes forever to get through the body and then you get to the fun stuff. And because of that, I mentally just was drained before I even started. Had I started from the top and got through the fun stuff in the yoke first, I'm thinking that I would have powered through, probably hurt my hands and everything. I would have powered through in order to get through the body and the sleeves. But this wasn't that, so it's okay. But yeah, it starts with a folded hem, and then it moves into this little decorative thing, and then the rest of it is going to be just straight stockinette body knitting. It's coming off a little cooler on camera than it is. Like it has a little bit of a blue tone to it. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, that's a little better. So, yeah, so that's the progress that I've made on the dress. I definitely put it down and had not thought about it, primarily because I've been working on this thing, which I'm just about finished with the first ball of yarn, so yay. But this is the Arctic Light Sweater by Kutova Kika. I see where I made a mistake, and I don't care. I'm not taking it out. But yeah, it's a all over cabled sweater. Um, this is currently, I think, row 33 or 4. All over cables. Just cables, cables, cables. Hold on. My cousin is calling me. Sorry, girl, I'll call you back. um, Yeah, so that's the sweater that I've been working on and what has kind of taken my attention in the new year. But I'm halfway or three quarters of the way done with the yoke on this. So hopefully once we get onto the body, we'll see. Now she say, well. Let me just text her real quick. I'll call her back later. But anyway, I don't have a whole lot of battery power, so however long we can get through this video with this little piece of battery I have is what we're gonna do. But yeah, so back to this dress right here. I casted it on first with what I think was, I don't know, let's just call it a 1L 2X. I don't remember. And when I did that, I didn't think, I thought that there was just too many stitches and that it would be too baggy. And so I took it off the needles. I had knit probably about that much in length on the hem. And I went ahead and, stepped into it to see how big it would be. It was literally like almost 8 inches worth of gap, you know? That's a lot. So I went back to the pattern schematic and I redid the calculations, looking at my size, my actual bust size, and then trying to account for my belly being a little bigger and not wanting it to be tight there. And I went down 2 sizes and I'm still like, was that right? The right thing to do? But I'm doing the math and I'm trying not to tell myself that they don't know what they're talking about. And I guess it's because in my mind, when you go shopping, you just, if you're a plus size person, you'd understand. You go in and you're like, there's no way that this is going to fit me. I'm going to just get the largest size that it comes in. And then you basically end up with a wardrobe full of clothes that don't fit you well. They're not flattering. And so I wanted to get out of that habit when it comes to knitting. Like I've always just went for the 2X because that's what I wear in the store. But what I'm finding is that in knitting, I'm normally about an extra large to a 1X, just kind of depending on what yarn I'm using. So I went down to what I believe is the extra large in this, and that's 300 stitches around the body. It's still a lot. But I went ahead and casted it on, and so far I'm feeling pretty good with it. I did do a couple of step-in try-ons with the extra cable to see how it fits around me, and I like the fit of it. Well, the width of how big it is on the body. So I'm gonna go with that. But I gotta tell you, when I started this project, man, I was in such a hurry to try to hurry up and finish, well, get finished, that I was taking shortcuts like crazy, child. And yeah, that was a bad idea. On something as simple as a folded hem, let me tell you what I did. So when I started or restarted it with the smaller size, I casted it on and I knew that it said to knit 20 stitches, 20 rounds, and then do a purl bump so that you can fold it, and then you basically knit another 20 rounds so that you have a folded hem. And when I was started on the first 20 rounds, I overshot it by like 7 rounds. So I had 27 rounds of stitches. So I did my purl bump and I was going on with the second half, which should have been another 27 rounds. But for whatever reason, I thought I could beat the system and make 20 rounds and it would still work. I don't know why I thought that way. I don't know if I was thinking I could block it into fitting. But this thing was just as puckery and as uneven as it wanted to be. And the way I was picking up the stitches to kind of put them together, fold the hem, it was not working. So I ended up taking out the portion that I did. I pulled out the stitches, picked them back up, knit the next 7 rounds, and everything was all good. Then I got into the chevron pattern, and I liked the chevron pattern. It was very, I don't know, not monotonous. No, it wasn't exciting, but it was addictive in a way, like because everything. Well, I separated it. It didn't tell you to do so in the pattern, but I separated each repeat with a stitch marker. And because each repeat ended with a yarn over, in my mind, I'm like, well, I can't end on the last stitch of the repeat because that's the yarn over, right? So I would just keep going and going and going and going. So that's how I got through it. Then I got onto the body, and now that's where I am, and I haven't made a whole lot of progress. It's knit 20 rounds, do a couple of decreases, knit 20 more rounds, do a couple of decreases. That's where I am, but right now we're just gonna knit a little bit. Don't plan on talking through this whole thing, but just wanted to give you a little synopsis of what was going on with this dress. And yeah, so I hope you have your warm drink and your project, and we'll just listen to some music and chill. Thank you for sitting with me for a little bit. I hope you got at least a round or two done on a project, or maybe you weaved in some ends. Weaved or wove? Wove in some ends? I think that's right. I'm gonna sit here and continue knitting. I told myself I'd sit until about 9. It's 8:22 right now. So that's my deadline or timeline that I scheduled for this dress today. Well, right now, and then I'll work on another hour a little bit later. But I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Looking forward to finishing the Arctic Light sweater. I'm looking to finish. Hold on a second. I'm looking forward to finishing the yoke portion of that sweater. Um, and I'm already telling myself to be patient if I have to do extra rounds because I needed to go over, go a little deeper on the yoke because I know I'm not going to want to, but if I have to, I want it to fit well. So, and I think I said it in the other video. I don't even know if I'm going to like the way a cabled sweater looks on me, this many cables. So I'm just really anxious to get it finished and try it on and see if I love it or like it or hate it. I don't know. But the pattern itself is really nice. I would definitely recommend it. Maybe not for a true beginner, but if you want to branch off into some cables and you're ready for a challenge, I think if you take your time and really just give yourself permission to go slow, you would enjoy it just as much as I am. And this dress, same thing. It's not my ideal way of knitting. I don't like bottom up stuff, but it seems like a lot of my favorite end result patterns are bottom up. So I'm just learning to go with the flow and just tell myself to take it easy, take my time, and get through it. So this is what I'm going to be doing for the next 30 minutes. I hope the rest of your day goes well. I hope that you stay warm. And if you don't have to go out, don't. And if you can sit on your sofa or your bed and knit all day, do that. Whatever works for you. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. Have a great weekend.